Lahore, 1838. In the amber half-light of the inner Zena, Maharaja Ranjit Singh sits alone. One eye clouded, hands trembling with age, yet still commanding as carved stone. He turns the Koh-i-Noor between his fingers. The diamond catches the oil lamp's flame, scattering constellations across walls of inlaid marble and sandalwood. 40 years of blood, diplomacy, and iron will reside inside that 186-carat stone. Every chieftain subdued, every river crossed, every brother sacrificed on the altar of unity. The sandalwood incense curls upward, like a prayer unfinished. Outside, the Punjab plains stretch in tense, harvested silence. Then, boots. Urgent, graceless boots striking mosaic tile, growing louder. A messenger carries something in his chest that his face cannot conceal. The Lion of Punjab lifts his head, and the diamond suddenly feels heavier than the empire itself. In the amber-lit antechambers of Lahore's inner city, where incense smoke coils against sandstone walls and the distant call to prayer dissolves into uneasy silence, 3 sardars gather beyond the reach of loyal ears. Their shadows pool across a hand-drawn map of the city, its bazaars, its garrison roads, its arteries of power. Faces weathered by decades of campaign and court intrigue, they speak in the compressed language of men who have measured every word against the cost of betrayal. Rings heavy with emerald and carnelian pressed together in a handshake that requires no witness, no scripture, no seal. Only ambition and fear, ancient and sufficient. Somewhere beyond the fortress walls, Afghan horses are already saddled. The conspiracy draws its first breath, and across the river, the old Maharaja shifts in restless sleep, as though the empire itself is warning him. The Darbar Sahib breathes with its usual splendor. Incense thick as river fog, the rustle of brocaded jamas, the low percussion of a court still performing its own grandeur. Ranjit Singh sits upon the Takhti Khans, his blind eye milky beneath the chandelier light, his good eye reading everything. Sardars bow. Petitions are received. The machinery of empire turns without friction. Then, with the subtlety of a blade slipped between ribs, his spy master Aziz-ud-Din ghosts forward and presses a folded note into the Maharaja's velvet-gloved hand. Not a muscle moves in that weathered face. Not a breath betrays him. Yet moments later, the session is dismissed. A full hour early. The assembled nobility feel it before they understand it. Something beneath the marble floor has shifted, and the Lion of Punjab does not wish them present when it breaks open. The oil lamps burn low in the inner chamber. No court, no pageantry. Only 2 men and the weight of an empire between them. Fakir Azizuddin, physician of secrets, speaks softly, his words falling like stones into still water. Names. Dates. Meeting places. Ranjit Singh listens with the stillness of a man who has already survived 100 betrayals. His one remaining eye, sharp, fathomless, betrays nothing. Not fury, not grief, only calculation, cold and precise as a surveyor's instrument. He has conquered rivers and mountain passes. He will not be conquered by wounded pride. When he finally speaks, his instructions are measured, almost gentle. Each conspirator will be summoned separately. A private audience, an intimate honor. None will know the others have been called. The trap is not yet set, but the lion has already chosen his ground. He leaves before dawn. No herald rides ahead. No drumbeat announces his coming. Ranjit Singh, 60 years of war and statecraft pressed into a body that now betrays him, pulls his shawl against the winter dark, and rides north with fewer than a dozen men at his back. The Grand Trunk Road unspools beneath iron hooves, the Chenab a silver wound in the frozen earth below, dust and wood smoke, the smell of a Punjab morning indifferent to empires. Somewhere ahead, Attock rises from its bluff above the Indus, its garrison walls holding a man who has chosen conspiracy over covenant. The Maharaja does not send a summons. He does not send an army. He sends himself. And that, perhaps, is the most dangerous thing he has ever done. What awaits him behind those ancient walls, no one yet knows. No chains, no guards, no drawn steel, only two men in a lamplit chamber smelling of sandalwood and cold stone, the distant Ravi whispering beyond the fortress walls. Ranjit Singh speaks without anger, methodically, tenderly, the way a father catalogues a son's gifts before naming his disappointments. He traces the arc of one man's life, the barren village, the forgotten name, the sword arm raised into consequence by a unified Punjab. The Sardar's hands begin to tremble. Title, land, bloodline, all of it conjured from loyalty, all of it dependent upon it still. When the Maharaja falls silent, the weight of unpayable debt fills every corner of the room. The commander weeps openly, without shame. Mercy is extended, not freely, but with purpose. And now, armed with names and dates and whispered oaths, the lion turns his gaze toward the deeper wound. One by one, Ranjit Singh summons them, not in the open court, where honor demands performance, but in the amber candlelight of private chambers, where truth has nowhere to hide. He speaks without accusation, without rage, only the quiet certainty of a man who already possesses every answer. The second Sardar, a warrior who once bled beside the Maharaja at the walls of Multan, feels the weight of that silence like a blade pressed gently to the throat. The incense thickens, the oil lamps guttered, and then the confession falls, soft as ash, from the lips of a man who cannot sustain the lie beneath those ancient knowing eyes. Trust, once the mortar of an empire, crumbles without a single sword being drawn. But the deepest fracture in this conspiracy still remains unconfessed, and it wears the face of a brother. Before the Akal Takht, the throne of the Timeless One, 10,000 souls bear witness. Incense curls through the morning air of Amritsar, like the breath of something ancient and unyielding. The Sardars approach in their silks and their shame, turbans still proud, eyes cast just slightly earthward. Ranjit Singh stands among them, not above them. A deliberate, devastating choice. No accusations are spoken. No names are carved into disgrace. Each man presses his hands together before the Granth Sahib and swears anew what he once swore and then forgot. The kirpan gleams at every hip, a reminder of what unity costs and what betrayal would have squandered. The conspiracy dissolves not in blood, but in the sanctified silence of collective memory renewed. Yet even as the incense rises, the lion's trembling hands betray what no ceremony can heal. The sun bleeds copper across the minarets of Lahore, and Ranjit Singh stands at the Jaroka window, smaller now, the great frame diminished by months of suffering. The Koh-i-Noor rests in his palm, its cold fire catching the dying light, indifferent as fate itself. Beyond the rose gardens, the Punjab stretches toward horizons he once crossed on horseback, sword singing. He speaks softly to his attendant, his voice no longer a command but a question. The most dangerous question an empire can ask of itself. His fingers close around the diamond. Outside, the Ravi River carries its ancient water southward, neither knowing nor caring who rules its banks. The sardars are quiet now. But quietness and loyalty are not the same country. And somewhere in the gathering dark, old hungers are beginning, once again, to stir. The throne stands empty now, gilded and cold, draped in silence where silk and incense smoke once hung perpetually in the amber air of the Darbar Sahib. The Koh-i-Noor, that pitiless, brilliant eye, catches the last light of an August afternoon in 1839, indifferent to the man who is gone. Beside it his sword rests, unblooded. That, perhaps, is the truest measure of his final victory. Ranjit Singh, the Lion of Punjab, is dead, and the wolves he spent a lifetime taming begin, even now, to circle. Within a decade, the empire he forged through fire and impossible diplomacy will splinter exactly as his dreams warned him it would. But for one fragile, luminous moment in the long turbulence of history, one man's wisdom held the storm whole.